We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
The market is always having technical difficulties, but Money Life can help. Every Friday, we're talking technical analysis.
We've come for help and we're not leaving without it.
Are you confused by the technical jargon and terms?
This is what makes you confused! Don't you get it? This is confusing you right now, isn't it?
Our guests will talk about the techniques they use each day to analyze the market and tell you what they see now in some of the market's numbers and charts.
Please stand by. Technical difficulties are temporary.
They'll tell you about the trends they see and how you might react to them to plow through the market's technical difficulties.
Yeah, I'm pretty confused, all right.
So stay tuned and get ready to cut through the confusion with Chuck Jaffe talking technical analysis on Money Life.
Indeed I am, and today I'm joined by Toni Turner, president of the TrendStar Group. She's the author of Invest to Win. She's been here a number of times before, and we always like talking with Toni because she's looking at trends and what's been going on and helps us get our head around the technicals. Now, if you want to get your head around the technicals and learn more about Toni, go to her website. It's ToniTurner.com. She's on Twitter. She's at Toni Turner Trade. But right now she's here. Toni, welcome back to Money Life.
Hey, thank you, Chuck. Good to be here.
So let's just jump right in. I mean, you were on about a couple of months ago, and you were, I would say, cautiously optimistic. At that point, you were sort of expecting that we might see some resistance problems. Where are you now?
Same place.
Well, possibly because we haven't seen trouble.
Nothing's happened.
Right, exactly. That it's kind of muddled along, and the things that you thought could happen have sort of just been pushed down the road a little bit, like what might happen if the Fed raises rates.
Exactly, Chuck, exactly. And I mean, we've gone nowhere in a hurry. The S&P 500 here, if anybody cares to look at a monthly chart, when you hear all these people say we're trading in a range, that's exactly what has happened. I mean, except for a bumpy year in 2011, the S&P 500 and a lot of other indexes have traded in an uptrend since that fatal March in 2009. The market's been basically going up ever since. And we're starting to push our luck here. You know, the market trades in cycles. Nothing goes straight up forever, and certainly, please Lord, doesn't go straight down. And so we could be, I'm not saying we are, I just have to see proof, we could be at least a top of that cycle with this trading in a range, you know, and maybe price moves up, but we're trading in the range between 2100 and about 1810. Now, if this summer we are so strong, if this market's so resilient that it can move above 2100, then hey, maybe low interest rates, if indeed they stay low, and maybe slowing global growth doesn't slow so much, maybe all the bad news that we see ahead of us is not so bad at all, and the market moves over. But I remain a skeptic, and I remain very conservative as long as I see it trading in this range, trying to make up its mind.
So you remain a skeptic, but as long as it's in the range, I mean, range is not sending you necessarily to the sidelines. What's the level that you're going, now I've seen the move that I was expecting, and at that point, what are you going to do?
Well, if the S&P 500 closes below 1810, then I will say, okay, we got to really batten down the hatches. If it starts to make it, I'll tell you what, if the S&P 500 moves below its 12-month moving average, then I will start getting out. You know, our market is overvalued here, and if I've heard one person say that, I've heard a dozen. I agree with it, and it's just we've got price to earnings ratios here that are very high, and earnings aren't that good. So it's not just technical. We're coming into a fundamental period here too, and fundamental is the long term. Fundamental is, hey, companies aren't making as much money as they used to make. It's really quite that simple. It's really that simple. Mm-hmm. And so that is being reflected in the technicals, in the charts, in actual price history. So I'm standing on one foot and another. I've got more cash than I've had in a long time. I talked to a hedge fund manager at length yesterday. It's one more hedge fund that's actually getting out of the market. He said, we are value value is not going to do well. It hasn't done well. And so he said, with everything I see right now, I am closing the fund.
Wow.
I know. And he's a good guy, and I know him well. We have offices near each other.
Well, and you say you're more in cash than you've been for a while. I mean, give my audience an idea. What percentage right now in cash?
I'm about 50% in cash. Now, hey, Chuck, I could be wrong. I hope to goodness I'm wrong. I hope this market starts up, moves over 2,100. I mean, that's great. It's just I've been in it too long to ignore the signs I see. But I also want to have a good time this summer. And so if I'm a little bit in cash when I leave for, a few days, I'm not standing on pins and needles and looking at my cell phone to see where the market is.
Well, it's not just about how are we doing. It's also about how you're getting there in terms of the emotions. And right now the emotions are telling you and the charts are telling you to be cautious. And you're not the only one, Toni, but we appreciate getting your opinion. Look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Hey, thanks so much, Chuck.
Toni Turner, she's president of the TrendStar Group. It's ToniTurner.com for more information about her or her book, Invest to Win. And she's on Twitter at Toni Turner Trade. All right, the big interview is next. The first of two big interviews is next when Money Life continues right after this message.